The ancient vessel glided through the darkness of space, its hull glowing faintly with the energy of the heart at its core. Elena stood at the bridge, calm and focused, her voice the only key to the ship's incredible systems. The alien crew, who had now grown accustomed to following her lead, watched with a mixture of awe and anxiety. "Human," the AI said, its voice steady. "The approaching vessel is of unknown origin. Sensors indicate it is capable of both energy manipulation and rapid maneuvers. Prepare for possible engagement or negotiation." Elena nodded. "Understood. Team positions. Stay ready. We don't know what they want yet." The unknown ship appeared on the sensors, a sleek, dark vessel that seemed to absorb the starlight around it. It moved with precision, almost like it was studying them, testing their reactions. Elena's mind raced, calculating options while keeping the alien crew calm. "Activate shields and deploy sensor probes," she commanded. "Let's understand what we're dealing with before we make any moves." The vessel responded instantly. Energy flowed to shields, and probes extended silently into the void, scanning the unknown ship. The results flashed on the holographic display: advanced weaponry, unknown propulsion, and energy patterns that suggested intelligence far beyond their previous encounters. "They're not just another ship," Jorak hissed. "They're clever, dangerous." Elena's expression was serious but composed. "That's why we stay sharp. Remember, the vessel chose a human for this reason. We can handle this, but we need precision, judgment, and quick decisions." The unknown ship suddenly transmitted a signal, a strange pulse that formed patterns resembling language. The AI translated it in real time. "The vessel recognizes your authority, human," it said. "They are testing your response. Communication or combat is your choice." Tylen's eyes widened. "So it's like a challenge. They're seeing if we can respond correctly." Elena nodded. "Exactly. And we respond carefully. Hasty actions could provoke conflict." She addressed the unknown ship through the vessel's communication array. "We are explorers. We seek knowledge and peace. Show us your intent." Moments passed in tense silence. Then the unknown ship's energy shifted, moving into formation around them. It was neither aggressive nor friendly. It was testing, watching, observing every decision Elena made. "This is more than combat," Elena murmured. "It's a test of judgment, strategy, and diplomacy." The AI provided advice in calm tones. "Human, adjust energy allocation. Prioritize defensive readiness while maintaining open channels for negotiation. Observe, respond, and make ethical choices." Elena directed the vessel to move subtly, weaving through the void with precision, demonstrating both defensive capability and strategic intelligence. "Maintain shields at 70% forward, 50% aft," she instructed. "Deploy countermeasures for any energy fluctuations. Keep a path open for communication." The unknown vessel reacted, sending pulses that simulated attacks. The ship's defensive systems responded perfectly under Elena's guidance. The alien crew marveled at the coordination, their fear slowly transforming into respect. "Every move she makes, the ship follows perfectly," Tylen said softly. "I've never seen anything like this." Elena's hands moved slightly, though she did not touch the controls. "It's not about speed," she said. "It's about reading the situation, predicting responses, and protecting everyone aboard. The ship amplifies our judgment, it doesn't replace it." Hours passed as the unknown ship continued to test them. Each pulse, each movement, each adjustment was a challenge, designed to see if they could handle not only strategy, but ethical responsibility. Elena's responses were measured, decisive, and moral. She protected the alien crew, avoided unnecessary risk, and maintained open communication. Finally, the unknown vessel signaled a halt. Its energy pulses shifted into a pattern that the AI interpreted as acknowledgement. "Human, your judgment, adaptability, and protective instincts have been observed. The unknown entity recognizes your authority and capability. Hostile action is unnecessary." Elena exhaled, a mixture of relief and determination washing over her. "We've passed the test, at least for now. But this shows how careful we must be. The galaxy is full of challenges, and the vessel chose us to meet them." Jorak nodded slowly. "We've seen it, humans. We are beginning to understand why it only responds to you." Elena's gaze remained on the sensors. "Yes, but there's still so much we don't know." "The vessel holds knowledge that can change civilizations. We need to continue learning, exploring, and preparing, and we have to do it wisely." The AI directed them to a new section of the vessel, one filled with advanced machinery and holographic archives. Elena approached, speaking aloud to activate the systems. Crystals floated into alignment, forming complex networks of energy conduits. Holographic displays revealed blueprints for technology that could revolutionize energy generation, faster than light travel, and defensive systems. "This is incredible," Tylan said. "And it's all guided through you." Elena studied the projections carefully. "It's giving us knowledge, but it's also testing our judgment. Every decision on how we explore or use this technology matters. We can't rush. We must learn responsibly." The AI added, "Human, the vessel's creators prioritized species capable of balance, morality, and ingenuity. Your guidance ensures that this knowledge is used wisely. The tests you faced with external threats demonstrate readiness, but continued evaluation is required." Elena nodded. "Then let's continue. We'll explore these archives carefully, understanding both potential and risk." The crew moved through the vessel, examining systems, learning functions, and preparing for the challenges ahead. Every room, every device, and every projection required careful thought. The alien crew followed Elena's commands, trusting her instincts and decisions. Suddenly, an alert sounded. The AI's voice was calm but firm. "Human unknown activity detected near a nearby system. Sensors indicate a fleet observing the vessel. Intent unclear. Caution advised." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Another test. The vessel wants to see how we respond, ethically, strategically, and with judgment under pressure." She directed the vessel to maneuver closer to the system, sending out subtle signals of peace while preparing defensive configurations. The alien crew watched silently, realizing that humans could balance diplomacy, strategy, and protection simultaneously. Hours turned into a day as they observed, responded, and analyzed the situation. Every choice Elena made was deliberate, demonstrating leadership, moral reasoning, and tactical skill. The vessel responded perfectly, amplifying her decisions but never replacing them. Finally, the unknown fleet moved away, seemingly satisfied with their observation. The AI confirmed, "Human, your judgment has been validated. Threat has been neutralized through careful decision-making, diplomacy, and strategic planning. Guardianship criteria continue to be met." Elena exhaled, relief washing over her. "We've passed another test. But it's clear the galaxy will always challenge us. The vessel chose humans not because the path is easy, but because it believed we can rise to challenges others cannot meet." Jorek stepped forward, his expression one of respect and admiration. "We doubted at first, but now we understand. You, human, and this vessel together. It's extraordinary." Elena smiled faintly. "It's not just me. The vessel enhances our abilities, yes, but it requires judgment, morality, and courage. That's what humans bring. That's why it only responds to a human voice." Tylan nodded. "We've learned something important. Humanity isn't just another species. We can lead, protect, and make choices others cannot." Elena's gaze turned to the stars outside. "This is only the beginning. The vessel has more knowledge to reveal, more tests to give, and more threats we may face. But we are ready. Together, we will explore, learn, and protect what has been entrusted to us." The ancient vessel drifted through the galaxy, alive, responsive, and patient. It had chosen humanity, not for conquest, but for guidance, protection, and leadership. And in the silent expanse of space, one truth became clear. Humans had been given a chance to shape the future, and the galaxy would never be the same. The vessel drifted silently through the void, its hull glowing faintly as if alive, sensing the galaxy around it. Elena stood on the bridge, her hands relaxed at her sides, her mind focused and clear. The alien crew moved quietly, now fully aware that this ship answered only to her. Every system, every energy conduit, and every drone waited for her voice. The AI's calm tone filled the room. "Human, the vessel has completed initial evaluations. Further tests and guidance await in uncharted regions. Your judgment, adaptability, and moral reasoning will continue to be evaluated." Elena nodded. "I understand. We've learned much, but the journey isn't over. The galaxy is vast, full of challenges and unknowns. We need to explore, protect, and prepare." Suddenly, a signal appeared on the sensors, an energy signature far stronger than anything they had encountered. It was moving directly toward them, fast, precise, and intentional. The AI's voice remained calm, but the alert carried weight. Human unknown entity approaching. Energy levels suggest advanced technology and potential hostility. Prepare defensive measures and tactical options. Elena's eyes narrowed. It seems the galaxy wants to challenge us one last time. Team, stay alert. Every decision we make matters. The unknown vessel appeared, larger and more advanced than any fleet Elena had seen before. Its hull shimmered with adaptive energy, weapons glinting faintly in the starlight. It was as if the universe itself had sent this as a final test, to measure whether humanity was ready to wield the power of the ancient vessel. Deploy shields to full capacity and activate all defensive. Drones, Elena commanded. Keep energy flowing to the propulsion systems for rapid maneuvers. Prepare for engagement, but look for opportunities to negotiate. The vessel responded instantly. Energy shifted, shields hummed, and drones formed precise formations. Every system operated flawlessly under Elena's voice. The alien crew watched silently, understanding that humans had become something more, a leader species capable of balancing power with wisdom. The unknown ship fired first. Pulses of energy streaked through space, striking the vessel's shields. Elena's voice guided the defenses with calm precision. Divert energy to the forward arc. Countermeasures deployed. Adjust trajectory to avoid incoming projectiles while maintaining position. Jorak hissed softly. No one else could manage this. It's like she's predicting their moves. Elena didn't answer, her mind calculating probabilities, observing patterns, and adjusting the vessel's systems in real time. Every decision mattered. Every action carried consequence. The unknown ship tested them in ways that combined combat, strategy, and ethical judgment. Minutes passed, tense and unbroken, as Elena guided the vessel through the engagement. She made decisions that balanced defense with restraint, ensuring no unnecessary destruction while protecting the alien crew and the vessel's integrity. The unknown ship responded with precision, but Elena's human intuition and judgment allowed them to anticipate moves, exploit weaknesses, and avoid dangerous traps. Finally, the unknown vessel paused, energy pulses shifting into patterns that the AI interpreted as acknowledgement. Human, your judgment, courage, and ethical decision-making have been observed. Hostile action is unnecessary. Recognition of guardianship is granted. Elena exhaled, relief washing over her. It's over, at least for now. But this shows what we're capable of. The vessel chose humans not because it wanted power, but because it believed in judgment, courage, and responsibility. The alien crew stepped forward, their expressions filled with awe and respect. You've done it, Tylan said softly. You've proven that humans can lead, protect, and make the right choices. Elena smiled faintly. We've done it together. The vessel amplifies our abilities, but it relies on human judgment. That's why it chose me and our species to guide it. The AI spoke, its voice calm and approving. Human, the vessel recognizes your leadership and moral integrity. Guardianship criteria are fulfilled. The archives, technology, and protective systems are now fully accessible. You may direct exploration, preservation, and knowledge distribution according to judgment and responsibility. Elena turned to the alien crew. This is a chance to do more than survive. We can explore new systems, learn from other civilizations, and protect what the creators left behind. The vessel chose humanity because it believed we could make choices that benefit the galaxy. The team moved through the vessel, accessing archives, studying technology, and learning from the holographic projections. Elena guided them carefully, ensuring that knowledge was understood, used wisely, and preserved. They discovered devices that could provide clean energy to entire worlds, faster-than-light travel methods, and defensive systems capable of protecting civilizations from natural or artificial threats. This knowledge, Tylan whispered, it's beyond anything we imagined. Elena nodded. Yes, but it's also responsibility. We have to decide what to share, how to use it, and when to act. Power without judgment is dangerous. That's why the vessel only answers to humans. It trusts us to balance knowledge, morality, and courage. Hours turned into days as they explored deeper sections of the vessel. Every room held new discoveries, new challenges, and new lessons. The AI guided them, but Elena made the final decisions, demonstrating humanity's unique combination of creativity, judgment, and moral reasoning. Then the vessel's sensors detected a faint signal, something not fully hostile but ancient and mysterious. Elena activated the communication systems. Show me what it is. A holographic projection appeared, a message from the creators themselves, encoded in energy patterns and symbols. The AI translated it. "Guardians of the vessel," the message said, "you have proven worthy. Humanity demonstrates judgment, courage, and moral reasoning beyond expectation. Use the knowledge to protect, guide, and inspire. Do not seek conquest. Preserve balance. Lead with wisdom." Elena's eyes widened. This is a message left for us. We've been chosen to carry forward their legacy." The alien crew exchanged glances, understanding the magnitude of what had just occurred. Humanity had been entrusted with knowledge, power, and responsibility far beyond anything in the galaxy. Jorak hissed softly. "We've witnessed history. Humans are more than explorers. They are leaders, protectors, and teachers." Elena smiled, a mixture of pride and humility. "Yes, but we must continue to act wisely. The galaxy is vast, and there will be challenges, conflicts, and difficult choices. We cannot fail in our responsibility." The vessel hummed as if acknowledging her words. Energy flowed through its systems, lights pulsing softly in response to her voice. It was alive, aware, and now fully cooperative under human guidance. Days passed as they continued to explore, learning, mapping, and understanding the archives. The alien crew became more than observers. They became partners, guided by Elena's decisions and moral leadership. Together, they tested technologies, solved complex simulations, and prepared for the future. Elena often stood at the observation deck, looking out at the endless stars. She thought about the challenges they had faced, the unknown fleets they had encountered, and the decisions that had defined humanity's role. She realized that the vessel had chosen not just for capability but for character. Humanity had proven that they could balance knowledge, power, and morality in ways no other species could. "This is our responsibility," she said quietly. "Not just for ourselves, but for every species, every world, and every life in the galaxy. We've been given a chance to guide, protect, and inspire. We cannot take it lightly," the AI responded. "Human, the vessel recognizes your commitment and integrity. Guardianship is affirmed. Exploration, preservation, and guidance may proceed under your direction." Elena smiled, feeling a sense of purpose deeper than anything she had known. "Then let's continue. Together we will learn, explore, and protect, and humanity will prove worthy of the trust that has been given." The vessel floated through the stars, alive and responsive, its energy pulsating like a heartbeat. Humanity had been chosen, not for conquest but for leadership. And in the quiet expanse of space, one truth became clear. The galaxy had met humans, and it would never be the same again. Elena turned to her crew. "We've only begun. The universe is vast, full of wonder and challenge, but we are ready. This vessel answers to us, and we will use it to make the right choices, for ourselves, for others, and for the future of the galaxy." The stars stretched endlessly before them, a canvas for discovery, exploration, and protection. The vessel waited, alive and patient, ready for the choices that only humanity could make. And for the first time, the galaxy knew that humans were more than explorers. They were guardians, leaders, and a force capable of shaping the destiny of countless civilizations. Ethan had always been fascinated by the unknown. Since he was a child, he had dreamed of discovering something no one had ever seen before, something that would make him feel the thrill of true exploration. Growing up on Earth, he had always looked at the stars and wondered what lay beyond the reach of human knowledge. Now, as an adult, he had become a collector of rare technologies and ancient artifacts, traveling to distant space stations and auctions across the galaxy. But nothing had prepared him for the auction he was about to attend. The auction hall was enormous. It stretched across 3 levels of the space station, each filled with rows of objects from countless worlds. Humans and aliens alike moved between them, examining items with intense curiosity. Some were delicate devices with tiny gears spinning inside, while others were large machines that hummed with unknown energy. Ethan's eyes scanned everything carefully. He was searching for something special, something unique, and he found it. It sat alone on a raised platform, separated from the other items by a faint blue energy barrier. At first glance, it looked like a spaceship, but it was different. Its hull was smooth and sleek, with subtle curves that seemed almost alive. Tiny lights pulsed along its surface, not in any pattern he recognized. There was no name on it, no clear indication of where it had come from. Yet when Ethan stepped closer, he felt a strange connection. The ship seemed to respond to his presence, almost as if it could sense him. The auctioneer, a tall alien with golden eyes, began to speak. his voice amplified so everyone in the hall could hear. "Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you an item unlike any other. This ship has been recovered from a derelict sector near the outer edges of the galaxy. Its systems are intact, but its origins are unknown. Be warned, however, if no one purchases it today, it will be dismantled for parts. No exceptions." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. Dismantled. The idea of this ship, something so unique, being taken apart for scrap, made him feel a rush of urgency. He knew he had to save it. Bidding began. At first, the bids were modest, as though no one fully understood the ship's value. But soon, alien collectors with deep pockets entered the competition. Ethan felt the familiar tension of the bidding war rise in his chest. He had never been the wealthiest bidder, but he had always relied on determination, knowledge, and quick thinking to succeed. 2 million credits, an alien with 4 arms bid smoothly. 3 million, another voice called out, from somewhere high above. Ethan hesitated for only a moment before raising his hand. 3,500,000, he said firmly. Gasps filled the room. No one had expected a human to compete so boldly. The alien bidders looked down at him with curiosity, some with amusement. The bidding continued. Every increase in credits made Ethan's heart pound faster. He could almost feel the ship vibrating in anticipation. Its lights pulsed more rapidly as though it recognized his determination. He knew he could not give up. If he failed, this remarkable vessel would be destroyed forever. Finally, after what felt like hours, Ethan raised his final bid. 6 million credits. There was a moment of silence. Then the auctioneer's golden eyes widened slightly. 6 million credits. Sold. The gavel came down. The crowd erupted in murmurs and whispers. Ethan had won. Relief washed over him, but it was quickly replaced by a new challenge. 6 million credits was a huge debt, far beyond what he had initially planned, but he didn't care. The ship was safe, at least for now. Ethan approached the platform cautiously. The blue energy barrier dissolved as he stepped forward, and he reached out to touch the hull. The moment his hand made contact, a warm hum ran through his fingers. The ship's lights shifted, forming patterns that seemed almost like a greeting. Ethan could not understand the language, but he felt a connection, a silent acknowledgement. "This is incredible," he whispered. Transporting the ship was another challenge. It was small, only slightly larger than a human shuttle, but it was heavier than it looked. Ethan had arranged for his small transport vessel to take it back to his private space yard. As he guided it aboard, he couldn't stop staring. Every surface of the ship seemed to hold a secret. Its design was unlike anything humans or most aliens had ever built. Once in his space yard, Ethan began his inspection. He carefully examined the exterior, running his hands along the smooth hull. The materials were unfamiliar, stronger than any metal he had encountered, yet flexible in a way that suggested it was almost organic. Tiny panels opened as he touched them, revealing glowing circuits that seemed to flow like liquid. Inside, the ship was even more remarkable. The cockpit was minimalistic, but every surface was covered with symbols and inscriptions that Ethan could not recognize. Small lights pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. When he sat in the pilot's seat, the controls shifted under his hands, responding to his thoughts. He realized that the ship was not simply a machine, it was intelligent. Word of Ethan's acquisition spread quickly. By the next day, rumors had reached black market networks and corporate offices across several sectors. Mercenaries and agents began asking questions, sending messages, and even attempting to locate him. They wanted the ship, and they were willing to do anything to get it. Ethan was aware of the danger, but he felt a strange calm. He had faced threats before, and he had always relied on his intelligence, resourcefulness, and courage to overcome them. Besides, the ship seemed to sense the danger too. Its lights glowed brighter, and subtle vibrations moved through the hull, as though it was preparing itself. Over the next few days, Ethan explored every part of the ship. He discovered hidden compartments containing tools and small devices of unknown function. Holographic panels appeared on command, displaying star maps, alien writings, and coordinates to distant, uncharted regions. At times, the ship seemed to communicate with him through subtle changes in light or sound, as if testing him, gauging his intentions. He gave the ship a name, Aurora. It was a fitting name for something so beautiful, mysterious, and alive. One night, while Ethan was studying the alien inscriptions, a faint signal appeared on the ship's interface. It was encrypted and faint but distinct, Aurora's lights pulsed faster, and a soft sound filled the cockpit almost like a whisper. Ethan leaned closer, trying to decipher it. The message seemed to be calling for the ship or perhaps guiding it somewhere. For the first time, Ethan realized that Aurora was not simply a ship to be owned. It had a purpose, a history, and a mission that he did not yet understand. And if he wanted to unlock its secrets, he would have to follow it, to trust it, and to face dangers he could not yet imagine. As he gazed out of the cockpit window at the distant stars, Ethan felt a surge of excitement. This was why he had become a collector, why he had traveled across the galaxy searching for something extraordinary. He had found it, and it was alive, intelligent, and full of secrets waiting to be discovered. Little did he know that his decision to save Aurora had already drawn the attention of powerful forces. Corporations, alien factions, and mercenaries would soon begin hunting him. The auction hall had been just the beginning. The galaxy was about to test his courage, his intelligence, and his human spirit in ways he could never have imagined. But Ethan did not fear. For the first time in his life, he felt a deep connection with something beyond human understanding, and he knew that whatever came next, he and Aurora would face it together. The hum of the ship continued, soft and steady, almost like a heartbeat. It was a promise of adventure, of secrets waiting to be uncovered, and of a bond that could change the course of Ethan's life forever. And so, with the stars stretching endlessly before him, Ethan prepared for the journey that would take him farther than he had ever dreamed, to places no human had ever seen, guided by a ship that was alive, intelligent and extraordinary. King about movements, and the ship responded. Slowly, a pattern began to emerge. Aurora was not just intelligent, it was aware. One evening, as the space yard hummed with the quiet sounds of other ships and machinery, Ethan sat in the cockpit, leaning over a glowing panel of alien symbols. He traced his fingers across the holographic interface. A faint vibration traveled through the seat. Aurora was alive in a way he had never experienced with any machine. It felt almost like it was studying him as much as he was studying it. A soft tone sounded unlike any alarm he had ever heard. It was a signal, a message encrypted in a code he did not recognize. Ethan felt a thrill run through him. This was proof that Aurora was more than a ship. It carried knowledge, perhaps even intelligence, from a civilization long gone. Determined to understand, Ethan connected his datapad to the ship. He began recording the symbols and cross-referencing them with databases of known alien languages. Hours passed, and slowly, fragments of meaning began to appear. Words like guardian, lost, and safeguard appeared repeatedly, though the rest remained a mystery. It was clear the ship had a purpose beyond transportation. While he worked, Ethan began noticing small, subtle changes in Aurora. Tiny panels shifted on their own, revealing compartments he hadn't seen before. He discovered small devices that looked like tools, but when activated, they displayed star maps of unknown sectors. Some of these maps led to areas humans had never charted. Others showed warnings, symbols that seemed to indicate danger zones filled with unknown threats. One night, as Ethan was recording a sequence of symbols, Aurora's lights glowed brighter than usual. The hum in the cockpit changed, almost like a greeting. Ethan leaned forward, his eyes wide. A message appeared, not in symbols this time, but in a simple projection of stars forming a path. He understood immediately. Aurora was showing him where to go. Ethan felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. This was no ordinary discovery. If the ship had a message for him, it might lead to something incredible or something dangerous. Either way, he was determined to follow it. The next morning, Ethan prepared for a short journey. He packed essential supplies, rations, repair tools, a navigation unit, and some defensive equipment. Aurora's interior adjusted automatically, creating compartments for his supplies and checking each one with a soft, pulsing light. It seemed to approve of his choices. As the ship left the space yard, Ethan felt a strange sense of partnership. He could no longer see Aurora as merely a vehicle. It was a companion, a guide, and perhaps even a friend. The hum of the engine sounded smoother than any human technology. The ship seemed to anticipate his actions, responding to small gestures or thoughts without any command. The first stop on the star map was a distant asteroid belt. According to Aurora's display, an artifact of importance was hidden there. Ethan navigated carefully through the twisting rocks and floating debris. He had flown in dangerous areas before, but this was different. The asteroid belt seemed to react to Aurora's presence, almost as if the ship was familiar with it. As he approached a specific cluster of rocks, a hidden compartment opened in the asteroid, revealing a small, metallic device covered in strange markings. Ethan carefully retrieved it. The device seemed to pulse with energy, harmonizing with Aurora's own systems. It was a key, he realized, a tool designed to unlock part of the ship's secrets. Suddenly, the quiet of space was interrupted by movement. A sleek black ship appeared from behind a cluster of rocks. Ethan tensed. It was not one of the usual traders or explorers. The markings on the hull were unfamiliar, and its weapons glinted under the distant sun. Whoever this was, they had been tracking him and Aurora. The black ship fired a warning shot, a pulse of energy that struck near Ethan's ship without damaging it. Aurora shuddered lightly but remained steady. Ethan realized that the black ship wasn't just hunting him for profit. It knew what Aurora was, and it wanted the ship for itself. He activated Aurora's defenses. Hidden panels opened, revealing energy shields and minor weapon systems. Ethan had never fired a weapon in space, but Aurora guided him, showing him exactly where to aim. The black ship maneuvered aggressively, but Ethan used Aurora's speed and intelligence to dodge each attack. A tense dance followed among the asteroids. Ethan relied on instinct, his human ingenuity, and Aurora's advanced systems to evade the pursuers. At one point, he lured the black ship into a narrow gap between two massive rocks. The ship's weapons misfired, striking the rocks instead, and giving Ethan a chance to escape. As he cleared the asteroid field, Ethan realized something important. He could trust Aurora completely. The ship had led him to the key artifact and had helped him survive an ambush that might have destroyed a regular vessel. Together, they were stronger than any threat in the area. Ethan studied the artifact. It fit perfectly into a hidden slot in Aurora's control panel. When he inserted it, the ship hummed louder and new holographic panels appeared. These displayed more star maps, encrypted messages, and locations labeled in alien symbols. But the artifact had done more than that. It had activated a part of Aurora he hadn't seen before. Small compartments opened in the hull, revealing more devices and tools. Some were clearly advanced navigation instruments, while others looked like defensive modules. Aurora's lights pulsed rhythmically, almost like it was breathing. Ethan realized that the ship was adapting to him. It was as though it recognized his intentions, his courage, and his intelligence, and was responding accordingly. This was no ordinary machine. The next day, while resting at a quiet outpost near a small moon, Ethan received a transmission. The voice on the other end was distorted, but he could make out a few words. Aurora must safeguarded, human, worthy. The message ended abruptly. Ethan leaned back in his seat, absorbing what he had just heard. Someone, or something, knew that Aurora had chosen him. He thought about the auction, about the corporations that would have dismantled the ship for profit. He thought about the black ship that had tried to take it by force. And he thought about Aurora, the intelligent, living ship that had chosen him as its partner. He realized that his life had changed forever. Over the next few weeks, Ethan continued to explore Aurora's secrets. He learned how to communicate subtly with the ship through touch, thought, and gestures. He discovered hidden compartments with advanced tools, maps, and devices he could not yet identify. He decoded partial messages that hinted at ancient alien civilizations and lost technologies. But Ethan also realized that he was not alone in the galaxy. Corporations, mercenaries, and unknown factions were already aware that he had Aurora. They would stop at nothing to acquire the ship, especially now that it had begun revealing its hidden potential. Despite the danger, Ethan felt confident. He had survived challenges before, and with Aurora, he felt prepared for anything. He understood that this ship was a key to knowledge and power, far beyond what any human or alien had ever seen, and he knew that it was his responsibility to protect it, to uncover its secrets, and to use its abilities wisely. Ethan stared at the stars, the vast expanse stretching endlessly before him. He knew that the journey ahead would be filled with danger, discovery, and perhaps even wonder that no human had ever imagined. But he also knew something more important. Aurora had chosen him, and together, they would face whatever the galaxy had in store. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt a connection not just to a ship, but to a living, intelligent companion. And he knew that the real adventure, the one that would test his courage, creativity, and human spirit, was only just beginning. The stars shone brightly outside, and Aurora's lights pulsed gently in response. It was a silent promise of the journeys to come, of secrets waiting to be revealed, and of challenges that only a human could face with ingenuity and bravery. Ethan smiled, ready for the future, knowing that he and Aurora were about to make history together. Ethan had barely slept since discovering the artifact hidden in Aurora. The ship seemed almost restless, humming with energy as if it knew something important was about to happen. The encrypted star maps had led him to a distant sector of the galaxy, far beyond the routes most humans or aliens traveled. According to Aurora, there was a message waiting there, a warning from an unknown civilization. He set the coordinates and initiated the ship's engines. Aurora responded immediately, smoothly adjusting its thrusters and activating hidden navigation systems that Ethan had not yet fully understood. The stars outside blurred as they jumped into faster-than-light travel. For a moment, Ethan simply watched in awe. Aurora moved as if it were alive, bending space to its will. After several hours, the ship slowed near a cluster of planets that seemed untouched by civilization. Aurora pointed toward a small rocky world with a thin atmosphere. As they approached, a holographic message appeared inside the cockpit, this time clearer than before. Human, worthy, knowledge, guarded, danger. The words repeated, forming a pattern. Ethan realized the message was a warning. Aurora's secrets were valuable, and those who sought them might not have good intentions. Landing was delicate. The rocky planet had jagged terrain and unpredictable winds, but Aurora's systems adjusted automatically. As Ethan guided the ship to a small plateau, he noticed faint structures in the distance, partially buried in the rock. They looked ancient, but unlike anything human or alien had built. Aurora's lights pulsed faster, signaling recognition. Ethan stepped out, his boots crunching against the rough surface. The structures were covered in symbols that matched some of those inside Aurora. He realized these were remnants of the civilization that had created the ship, guardians of knowledge now lost to time. He walked closer, feeling a strange mix of excitement and reverence. Suddenly, the ground vibrated lightly. Ethan froze, scanning the area. A figure emerged from one of the structures. It was humanoid, but taller than any human, with luminous eyes and armor that shimmered with the same subtle glow as Aurora. The figure held a small device that emitted waves of energy, and it seemed to study Ethan carefully. "You have the ship," the figure said in a voice that was clear in Ethan's mind, though he could hear nothing with his ears. "The one we entrusted to humans. You are worthy, but many are not. You must protect it." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on him. He had always wanted adventure, but now he understood that it was more than curiosity or thrill. Aurora was not just a ship. It was a key to knowledge and power that could change the balance of the galaxy, and others would come to take it. As if to confirm the warning, a series of bright streaks appeared in the sky. Another ship, a sleek, dark vessel marked with unfamiliar symbols, was approaching quickly. Ethan had encountered one before, but now there were more. The attackers clearly knew where he was. Aurora's systems activated automatically. Panels opened, energy shields expanded, and the small defensive turrets deployed along the hull. Ethan felt a surge of confidence. He knew he had faced danger before, but now he had Aurora fully responding to his intentions. The first shots fired, and bright pulses of energy illuminated the rocky planet. Ethan maneuvered Aurora through narrow canyons and jagged cliffs, using the terrain to his advantage. The pursuing ships struggled to follow, their weapons misfiring against the obstacles. Ethan realized that human creativity and adaptability, combined with Aurora's intelligence, gave him an edge even against superior firepower. During the chase, Ethan discovered a new function of the ship. By touching a series of glowing panels, he could generate temporary wormholes, short bursts of space-time travel that allowed Aurora to appear in unexpected locations. He used these to evade the attackers, leaving them disoriented and unable to predict his movements. Each jump tested his concentration, but Aurora guided him, subtly hinting at the safest paths. After several tense minutes, Ethan led the attackers into a narrow canyon filled with sharp, floating rocks. He activated a hidden sequence in Aurora, causing the canyon to illuminate with a series of lights that disrupted the enemy's sensors. The attackers were forced to retreat temporarily. Ethan exhaled, his hands shaking slightly from the adrenaline, Aurora's lights dimmed as if acknowledging the temporary victory. Ethan knew this was only the beginning. The ship's creators had left messages and warnings for a reason. He began to explore the nearby structures, hoping to find more information about Aurora's origin and purpose. Inside, he discovered chambers filled with devices and panels that responded to his touch. Holographic images appeared, showing fleets of ships, vast civilizations, and warnings of dangers that had once threatened the galaxy. The images also revealed something remarkable. Aurora had been part of a fleet designed to protect knowledge and life across the stars. The fleet's mission was to prevent powerful technologies from falling into the wrong hands. Over time, the fleet had been destroyed, and Aurora had been lost until Ethan had found it. He realized that he was now part of a legacy, one that required courage, intelligence, and a sense of responsibility far beyond ordinary human experience. The ship had chosen him because it recognized his potential, and now it was teaching him how to protect its secrets. As night fell on the rocky planet, Ethan set up a temporary camp near the structures. Aurora rested beside him, its light soft but steady. He could feel its presence, a comforting rhythm that reminded him he was not alone. Despite the danger and uncertainty, he felt a sense of purpose he had never experienced before. While Ethan rested, he studied the holographic messages more closely. One of them displayed a galaxy-wide map with areas marked in red. These regions were controlled by factions that would stop at nothing to acquire Aurora. He understood that he was being hunted not just for the ship, but for the knowledge it carried. The realization was sobering. He had always thought humans were small players in the galaxy, limited in power and influence. But here, with Aurora by his side, he understood that human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could give them an advantage no other species could match. Humans were underestimated, and that could be their greatest strength. The next morning, Ethan prepared to leave the planet. He had collected important information about Aurora's origin and abilities, and he now understood the path he needed to take. The holographic map suggested another location, a hidden system that could help him unlock more of the ship's secrets. But the black ships were still in pursuit. Ethan activated Aurora's cloaking system for the first time in a real combat scenario. The ship shimmered and disappeared from visual scanners, though its presence could still be detected by certain energy sensors. Using human creativity, Ethan plotted a course that led the attackers on a false path, allowing him to move undetected. As he traveled through space, Ethan realized something important. Aurora was not just a tool for survival, it was a partner. It responded to his decisions, helped him think strategically, and even seemed to anticipate dangers before they appeared. Together, they were stronger than any enemy they would face. Hours later, Aurora detected an anomaly in space, a small abandoned station orbiting a lifeless moon. The star maps indicated it might contain another piece of the puzzle. Ethan approached cautiously, knowing that danger could be anywhere. But Aurora guided him, pointing out safe docking areas and alerting him to potential hazards. Inside the station, Ethan discovered more alien inscriptions, tools, and a small library of data cores. Aurora hummed with recognition, as though acknowledging the importance of the find. Ethan realized that each discovery was leading him closer to understanding the ship's full purpose and the civilization that had created it. But even as he explored, Ethan knew he was not alone. The black ships would not give up. The galaxy had taken notice of Aurora, and many forces would stop at nothing to claim it. He had to be ready for anything. Ethan looked at Aurora and smiled. "We're in this together," he whispered. The ship's lights pulsed gently as if in agreement. He understood that the journey ahead would test everything he knew, courage, intelligence, and human ingenuity. But he was ready. And for the first time, Ethan felt truly alive. He was not just a human exploring the stars. He was a guardian, chosen by a ship more intelligent than anything he had ever known, and entrusted with a mission that could change the course of the galaxy. With Aurora humming steadily beside him, Ethan plotted the next jump. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, filled with unknown dangers, ancient secrets, and adventures waiting to be discovered. The real journey was just beginning.